we've got to do something here now pretty quick. Can I just go back over a couple of those there, just because Hugh's did a great job. I just want a couple of little things I want to say there. About the right way, go back there. The government, I just want to point out this little bit here. It is actually government policy for heritage at risk that they do not maximise monetary gain from heritage. That's really important. See, that document actually states that on our website under a heading that says Castle at critical risk. Okay. Now, as I said, there is 2 more sections coming, but we want at this stage to ask you if there's any concerns that we haven't. We're coming to the bit where we say about what it could and should be and what we should do. But right at this stage, we want to make sure that we're listening to you and we're all working together. So is there any concerns that we've missed out here? Is there any other concerns that you'd like to bring forward? Yes.
Is the road down from Castle Street legal right on that road?
There's no legal rights. There's no legal rights in Necarne at all.
Who owns that?
The road from where?
Castle Street on there.
That's a private road. And it's owned by, well, it's owned by an individual in Necarne. It's owned by Mervyn Rankin owns the road down in Necarne. The existing, what you call the road now, which wasn't.
How do you get down from that end?
You're talking about the concrete road going down to Necarne at the moment. That belongs to Mervyn Rankin.
Yeah.
And it's a private road. So what used to be the
it's a private road. It actually probably would have been the back. Well, the main road in Necarne used to actually come from, I think, where the police station is in Irvinstown, down under the railway bridge. You know, the railway bridges are going up to the Bonacre and carry straight on down to Necarne. That used to be the main road into Necarne, and this was just like a tradesman's entrance, which is now in what you're calling, but probably what most people here would call the main road to Necarne. Is actually, you would have been in the tradesman's route into Necarne, so it would have been. But to say that's a private road. It's actually not on the council deed, as far as I know. I'll ask Davy Morrison. Is it Davy? No. Where's Davy? It's not on the council property. Yeah, so but I actually live in Necarne, sort of, and I have a right of way over that road. The same as the council. The council have a right of way over the road, but they don't actually own it as such. Okay. Yeah, they do maintain. Yeah, they maintain it as well.
Any other concerns? Any other worries or concerns apart from what we've said? Is there anybody else that anything we've missed in that? Yes.
Is the Forest Service land going to be retained by the Forest Service?
Is the Forest Service land going to be retained by the Forest Service? Is the Forest
I assume so. Yeah, I assume so.
Forest Service land being retained by the Forest Service? Do we know?
There's no reason to give it up.
It's not part of
No.
that. It's not part of that estate. It's not part of the normal estate, is it, of Necarne? No.
It was sold off at a very previous auction.
It was sold by
250
the
acres
council.
roughly.
Was it sold by the council?
It was sold by a private individual,
Okay. Yeah, then it
as
should.
far as I remember.
Yeah.
It was probably sold by Raymond McCartney at the time,
Yeah.
and I think that if you actually look at the plans for the leasing of Necarne, it is, I would say, 90% of the land on the lease is grassland, and I think there's only about 10% of it woodland. The rest is totally out. All that woodland outside is still forestry land. It's not in the lease at the moment. It's not in the lease. I don't expect it to be in the lease.
Any other concerns at this point? Yeah.
The Forest Service have recently entered an initiative with local communities to link with local communities, and I would have thought that gives a possibility of developing more paths within what is owned by the Forest Service, maybe a peripheral path,
Yeah.
because the forest ownership is generally in the periphery of the estate.
That's even more potential then for people to come and to enjoy it even more and extend the walks and everything like that. It could be open. It could open up the estate to even more users.
But I think in relation to Necarne, the Forest Service could now be challenged on community linkage, because they've done it in other parts of the county.
Okay. Yeah, so yes, the Forest Service need to be challenged. Community leakage, would you like to help write down? Was there anything else, any particular other concerns? It's really, we've got to, I can't emphasize enough for you, do not think for a moment that you can leave this all to us. There is no way we can do this. We cannot do this without you. We have got to do this together. We're just simply facilitating some information here tonight.
Can we just clarify, the individual can apply for a right of way as well, or is it just groups? Because most of us are walking individually.
Yeah.
I think it, individually you can apply for a right of way, but it's really bringing them all. The more people you bring together. Well, usually they actually ask for at least 5 group of people, and obviously I think you can start from 5, but the weighting on 5 people applying for right of way is probably quite low, as opposed to if you've got 100 or 150, 200, it's a different weighting as such, you know.
I'm thinking about a number of individual ones, it's overwhelming.
No, they're all these. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. This needs to happen. This absolutely. So this is why we're here tonight, to try and encourage you. We're trying to empower you. We're trying to resource you. But we can't do it alone. Only chance is we all come together on this, and that's how it should be. Because it's not going to be too late if we don't do it now. Hugh, is there a plan for what people do with their forms?
Bring it back to us.
To where?
Well, no, I spoke to Joe even in the hotel. We'll leave some spare forms at reception in the hotel if whoever doesn't get it tonight, and certainly if they bring them back, I'm sure Joe will hold them for us. Is that okay, Joe?
Are you okay for that reception? So can we be clear then? You can collect your forms here, bring them for your friends, bring them for your families, and get as many as you can. There are more there available. There is no limits on these forms. Get them home, get them filled out. We will try and write advice on our website. Yes. And we'll put advice up on our website if you're not sure about what you need to do. And bring them back to reception at the hotel here, because we want to make sure that these don't disappear. We want to make sure that we have a record of how many people, submitted these forms, okay? All right? Any other concerns? How are we doing? Are we all right in this? Good. That's good.
So can we get 5 people together, you make yourself a walking group? Is that, and we fill out a form?
It's not making itself a walking group. It means that if we actually need at least 5 forms, okay? It doesn't matter whether it's one from a walking group or whatever. It's just about numbers. So it's really just we need 5 forms to start.
Obviously, we estimate that there's 200 to 300 walkers, right, at risk here. Okay, so we need to protect that. We don't know what's going to happen. They've created a lottery situation, but there are some strong bidders in there that are private individuals, and we don't know what they're going to do. But we can't rely on that either way. It isn't a good way to go forward with what is community and heritage. Okay. Any other questions? Sorry.
As a group of 20 walkers, would we each have to fill in the form?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we have more than 20.
Yeah.
We are here representing trendsetters.
Would you like to?
We are here representing trendsetters Ermstown, and we'd like to take some of those forms because previously we have availed ourselves of the opportunity to use Necarne for our annual picnic, and it's now closed to us, and we want to see that opened up again.
So there's another group, because we started off being very concerned with all the young people who were excluded, who were riding horses out in the freezing cold pouring rain, and then we found out about the RDA, then we found out about the cyclists, and it just went on and on and on, the number of people who asked, and it just seems like every week there's another new group who wanted to use it, and then we're locked out. So now is the time to come together. Anything else?
I take a running group there. I take a running group there every Sunday, and we've never been excluded. You just have to, and there's never been a question about us not using it.
Yeah.
A group of 12 children every Sunday,
Yeah.
and that is we've never been questioned
Yeah.
about our access or anything to our
But there is absolutely no guarantee that will continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to act now to protect that. Okay? Anything else? Anyone else?
Sorry. Will the scouts still be able to hike and camp?
Will the scouts still be able to hike and camp? Will the scouts is the question from some scouts in the corner. So there is no guarantee of that, because in the criteria and in the terms that the council set, they didn't safeguard any of the groups who need and want to use Necarne. The only way to guarantee that, because even if somebody came in and said within the first year, yeah, I'm going to have it open for everything, because they can't go back on the way that they wrote the terms, it's very difficult, for them to be able to guarantee that for the next 25, 50, 100 years, depending on how long they give this lease for, that won't be reversed. So the only way to be sure that you want, that your use and your needs and your scouting groups are able to do is to come together now and, join this, and we all come together and fill out your rights of way and, support each other at this time to be able to try and get this to come into a community trust. Okay? I'm chairman.
What about all the buildings in Necarne, the stables and everything like that? They've all development of those has all been granted, hasn't it?
Sorry, you want to go?
Well, the development of all the buildings in Necarne has been granted. So surely there's conditions about the grants that they received to develop those buildings, and maybe them just not allowed to sell them off. Like this. I don't know.
We had exactly that concern, because they took effectively, 5 million of public funds to develop what should have been for something to benefit the public, and now they're just effectively potentially handing it over to benefit a private developer, and that's what we're trying to stop. But we did ask for exactly that. We asked to see the applications, because we thought they would show two things. They'll show, in order to justify that application, they'd have had to show need in the application. So, we'd have established the need, and then we would establish, terms of that funding. And we asked for that under expression of interest, and they said that it was beyond the term that they had to hold records for. Yeah.
If the official in the council doesn't react
Sorry,
to...
can I just...
I gather there's an official in there's an official in the council who deals with rights of way. If they don't react to what we're asking, is there a higher authority we can go to?
Yeah, I think that we may be able to try and find that out, but I can't actually tell you that right now. We'll have to just jump that bridge when we come to it. I think the first stage is to actually get the forms in.
It's not a conflict of interest though. If the
Yeah,
council is the person or who we're appealing against.
Yeah, I think that's important. Can I just get that?
Is it not a conflict of interest if you're applying to the council to get these routes, and it's the council that's trying to implement this?
I will say at the end of the day, in fairness to Imelda McCarn, is actually the countryside officer, and in fairness to her, she's been really helpful, and she accepts that. She does accept that. She does accept that.
Obviously, publicly, there's obviously a perception that it's the council working within the council, but Imelda is obviously statutory bound to work with the group to assert it, and she's given me her assurances that she's certainly going to do to the best of her abilities to do it as such, and we can do nothing more than that. There is no other way around doing it, bar you actually go direct and hire barristers and go straight into court. Really, that's the end field at the end of the day, and really that's all part of actually going through your district council countryside officer, and look, it'll never get that, I would never get that far anyway, because so I'd expect it to be sorted before that.